let's go around week 6 in the NFL.
Oh,
And I got to be honest. You know me, I love me some football, but these games
I was going
were,
to say this. I was going to say, is it fair to admit that this week of games was kind of trash?
I would agree. Yes.
Not
Wasn't
great
the
football you
most
play.
it wasn't the most spectacular football by any means, but it's football and I enjoyed it. Watched some games with my man John Curley.
Oh boy.
At the new final that's been remodeled in San Francisco before we went to the Canadian Fleet Week in the marina. But yeah, I mean these games, there were some games on paper. There was the Seahawks and Jags game. Two teams that are above 500, and I came away really impressed with the Seahawks here. The passing game with Sam Darnold throwing to Jackson Smith-Njigba, who looks like the best wide receiver in football right now. 8 catches for 162 yards. Evenly matched. Seattle was just making bigger plays. And we both call this game right. Like we thought there would be kind of a letdown after a huge win against Kansas City. So, and the Seahawks are really good on the road. I think they won their last 10 games on the road when they're, in their history, it's always been how good they are at home with the 12. So, yeah, I think that right now the Seahawks look really, really impressive. The Rams, I would say, are second in that division with how they play defense, and I thought they would have like more of a offensive explosion against the Ravens with how much defense they've, or how much points they've allowed. But yeah, the Seahawks are definitely the most impressive team to me in the NFC West.
Yeah, and on to add to the whole Liam Cohen thing, like was he mentioning Trevor Lawrence in that situation? Because Trevor Lawrence, he was just holding on to the ball for way too long in this game. That's why he was sacked 7 times. The other thing that caught my eye is you said it at the top with Smith-Njigba, who's leading the NFL in receiving right now, but that dime,
yeah, it was beautiful.
61-yard pass, like that was just gorgeous. So that's all I really got from this one.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp finally getting his first touchdown with the Seahawks. So, man, the way they play defense and the way their passing game is right now and the two-headed backfield with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, yeah, I think that they right now look like the best team in the NFC West to me. As far as the Rams and Ravens, like the Ravens played pretty good defense in the first half, and then the Rams just pulled away. Great catch on the sideline from Kyron Williams on a 4th down play.
Mm-hmm.
But Matthew Stafford was struggling a little bit. He had a fumble. Puka Nacua got hurt in this game with an ankle injury, and now he's week to week. Devontae Adams, he's not the same player. He doesn't get separation like he did in the past, and he's dropping a lot of balls, and him and Matthew Stafford don't have a good connection right now. So just for that reason alone, I put them second. I think they have the most talent of any team in the division. But, with the 49ers injuries, yes, I stand by that statement. But, yeah, Rams get away with a win, 17-3, and it's probably because the Ravens are just so bad right now.
The Ravens are terrible. It was their quarterback play. Like I had to turn the game off. It was gone off multi-view. After I believe they kicked a field goal to go up it was after they scored the touchdown because of the fumble and they went up 17-3. I'm like, all right, I'm turning this game off. There's no point. And the Devontae Adams thing, he still gets separation. He's just dropping everything. Like, God, there was one play in the end zone where he totally shakes the defender. He's wide open, kind of a poor throw on Stafford's part, but Adams just dropped it. And he's been dealing with these drops ever since his time with the Raiders, and his hands just haven't been the same. So I could agree with you there, but I still think he's an elite route runner, one of the best in the league. But his hands just aren't doing him any favors at all.
No, I would say that he still is great at running routes. It's just his speed and ability to get away from defensive backs. Quinyon Mitchell was sticking to him after that touchdown he had against the Eagles. After that, he shut him down. And I think that Matthew Stafford just knows how to throw to Puka Nacua. He does not know how to throw to Devontae Adams yet, which is kind of weird. By the way, I was watching that game in the 4th quarter, and I'm like, who's number 5 for the Ravens? Who's running around? I was like, oh, is that Snoop Huntley? Is that Tyler Huntley? And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know that he was with the Browns at training camp, and he was part of the Ravens practice squad. But with Lamar Jackson injured, why would you change your entire offense up with Cooper Rush, when you had success years ago with Tyler Huntley filling in, wouldn't you want to keep that same offensive system? Like, why would you change it to a traditional drop back quarterback? I know that may throw some teams off, but clearly it didn't work out.
And that's why I told you, I think John Harbaugh's job, it might be, I don't know if that seat's hot just yet, but it's starting to get hot. Bill Barnwell even mentioned it in his article.
If it is hot, I think this is the first year where we start to have this conversation, but I don't think he's fired by the end of the year by all means.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We got to see how it plays out. Their schedule is actually pretty easy after this bye week. But then again, I just said you can't play the schedule game with the 49ers, so why would I do that with the Ravens? They need their defensive player makers back, and they need Lamar Jackson back, obviously, to have any success. All right, let's talk about a good game. Chiefs and Lions, Sunday Night Football. Did you see the opening drive of this game, Steven, with the play the Lions ran on the goal line that was called back?
I didn't.
God, it was great. So Jared Goff was lined up at the shotgun, then motioned out to the left, had David Montgomery take the direct snap, and then he threw to Jared Goff. Now, it was called back because it was illegal motion, or I guess Jared Goff was not able to, whatever he did, lined up in the shotgun, then went out left. I guess you can't do that for whatever reason. I thought it was a really cool play, and the reason that it was successful was because Jared Goff used the body of the Chiefs defensive back to catch it like into his arms. So, yeah, that was a fun play that was taken away. But, yeah, man, the Chiefs, the most impressive thing about this game was they did not record a single takeaway. They just stuck to their receivers like glue, and they shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown. They shut down Jamison Williams. They ran the ball effectively, but the Chiefs were doing, their thing on offense. And Patrick Mahomes threw 3 touchdown passes, rushed for 1. And the Lions just couldn't keep up offensively. They went for it on 4th down, didn't convert. So I still think the Lions are the best team in the NFC. They faced a really good team in the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are turning it around now, where just because they lost last week to the Jaguars, I think that they will probably be in the playoff picture once again. Like, I think we write teams off way too soon. Not to say that anybody was thinking like they want to make the playoffs by any means, but I still think with the Chargers injuries, and we'll talk about their game against the Dolphins, but with the Chargers injuries, I think the Chiefs now are smelling blood in the water, and they get Rasheed Rice back this week.
Just situational touchdowns, man. Like, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's even a phrase, but situational touchdowns where you're scoring knowing that the Lions are probably going to have one more drive left going into halftime, but you get a touchdown anyway in timely fashion. Then you get a touchdown right out of the half. And then after the Lions score a touchdown to cut it to 3 points, the Chiefs go ahead and score a touchdown himself. So it's just timely touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, man, like when he has those just types of plays where it's kind of going back to high school, where especially in the red zone, like there's no one as creative as Andy Reid in the red zone. And he had a couple of them. He had a couple of bangers in this game, actually. But one of them where Patrick Mahomes fakes it to the running back, and it's just a total option play. Keeps it himself.
Yep.
Sends the arm to the end zone. Touchdown. Like, the dude is just, I don't know. They're still a real nasty team. I thought for a second maybe their offense was getting a little stagnant, but now it's starting to pick up. And I don't know, maybe we got to start putting the Chiefs back in that better team conversation now.
No, I think so. I think that now this is where you'll see it kind of turn, where the offense was at a groove the first 2 weeks of the season, especially against the Eagles, and now it's like, okay, they're back to where they were before.
Yeah.
The real highlights of this game were after the whistle blew to end the game, when Brian Branch wasn't going to give Patrick Mahomes some love with a high five, and kind of like pushed him away. And Juju Smith-Schuster was not happy about that, and Brian Branch just knocked him in the face, and now he's been suspended 1 game because of his antics after the game, because he was upset with a blindside block on him from Juju. Or maybe it was Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, I actually think it was Pacheco. Brian Branch, really good player, kind of a punk. He kind of does this stuff like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, where he talks shit and thinks that he could just push guys and gets penalized all the time. I like his game, but I think he's also kind of a dirty player in some aspects. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to defend him. The suspension is totally warranted.
Yeah, sure. But he's crazy. Like, that's what Brian Branch is. He's a crazy defensive back. And I'm not going to condone anything that he does, but I'm not going to be mad at him for getting in a
No.
fight with the Chiefs. It's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I'd
And I
love
thought
if that was on the Raiders.
and I thought that Mahomes handled it well in the post game. He was like, "We handle everything." I'm not gonna do it with the voice. We handle everything like in between the lines of scrimmage. They can handle all the stuff off the field. But yeah, exactly. So yeah, I still think the Chiefs are going to be. I still think they might win the AFC West, even though the Broncos are 4-2 and the Chargers are 4-2. They're right behind them at 3-3. And the Lions, they lose to a good team. So their two losses are to the Packers on the road and the Chiefs on the road. Not bad. As far as the Chargers, can we play the clip of John or Jim Harbaugh real quick?
Yeah, hang on.
I mean, this game was fun. Like you and I both picked the Dolphins. It looked like they were going to win this game with a Darren Waller touchdown in the closing seconds. But Justin Herbert gets out of a sack and maneuvers his way to the right and throws a pass to Lad McConkey that sets up the game-winning field goal. And Jim Harbaugh was so moved by the movie he saw on the plane that he had to make a comparison of his quarterback.
The Mission Impossible movie, the final reckoning, I think it's called. I was watching that caught a little bit of that on the plane on the way back from Miami, and that's what I was like, man, like Ethan Hunt, Justin Herbert. I mean, they're people don't realize all the things that they do. Mission Impossible kind of says it all. And then he's like Ethan Hunt. Pretty cool.
Dude, I feel like I've heard that press conference so many times where he'll compare like, oh, yeah, Justin Herbert, man, like, man, he's like Spider-Man. You guys seen that or Superman? You see Superman? He saves the day, man. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Ethan Hunt. Pretty cool.
He's no Ethan Hunt. He's no Ethan Hunt. All right.
No.
Good luck, Jim.
Yeah, no. Justin Herbert's not rock climbing without a safety net or any of the other crazy shit that Ethan Hunt does.
Climbing the super tall tower in Dubai, which is the biggest one in the world, with the little suction cup things. He's not sprinting across London in 6 minutes on rooftops, breaking his ankle in the process. Sorry, Jim. He's no Ethan Hunt. By the way, in the final reckoning, Ethan Hunt is like 80 years old. All right? Don't compare Justin Herbert to Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, and he's scuba diving without like any air.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, like I understand like, Harbaugh's gonna talk glowingly about his quarterback, but I love like every movie he watches, he compares it to Justin Herbert now. And like, what was he thinking too? He's like, yeah, I watched that Final Reckoning, and man, Justin Herbert's he's like Ethan Hunt, and I'm like Luther. Yeah. But I don't want to die. No spoiler alert or anything.
I mean, is that the most damning clip to come out of this game?
No, it's not. So I thought the Dolphins were going to win this game, but Justin Herbert makes a Ethan Hunt-like play to get the game-winning field goal from Cameron Dicker. Big game, by the way, from Kamani Vidal for 124 yards. I made the wrong move by picking up Hassan Haskins at running back. So they got some running game there. Yeah, good win by the Chargers to go into Miami, a place where they, haven't won in a while, and usually Tua gets the best of Justin Herbert. But Tua in this game threw 3 interceptions and then felt the need to tell the media why this team lacks leadership and they don't have good practice habits. So here's Tua being asked about the leadership skills of the Miami Dolphins at the moment.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
So when I first saw this, I was like, man, is he calling out Mike McDaniel here for the lack of leadership skills? And when I got the news of Brian Callahan's firing, I was like, okay, I was kind of expecting Mike McDaniel to be fired today.
Yeah.
But then Mike McDaniel was asked about it at his press conference. He was like, he should have probably kept that in-house. And I think that was the response of many former players on Twitter being like, Tua is not in a position to be doing this. Like, any quarterback should not be saying this, let alone a guy that throws 3 interceptions in a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand he's calling out other teammates for their lack of leadership skills, and that's been heavily reported with what's going on, in the past with Jalen Ramsey and why they, ultimately decided to move on from him. But this is bad leadership skills from Tua in the first place.
Yeah, from sports podcast host guy who, has opinions on things. Yeah, sure. This is detrimental to the team. You shouldn't be saying those things as a quarterback, but that would be hypocritical of me personally, who loves the chaos and hates when things are held back in the media. And so from that standpoint, I love what Tua said. I love it.
Because you want the drama.
I want the drama, the chaos. Call out your teammates. What happens with the offensive line? Were any of the offensive linemen late? Are they going to pull a longest yard where they think that Paul Crewe is throwing the game so they just don't block any of the defensive linemen from Allentown Prison? What's going to happen here? I think this makes the Dolphins vastly more interesting than they were before. First, they're just a losing team whose head coach is going to lose his job. Yeah, whatever. But now this time, now we got some inner turmoil. And maybe that should have been kept in-house. Maybe maybe that's an indictment on him. Just the fact that no one's showing up to meetings like, you're the quarterback, dude. You should be the one who is leading the charge in that regard.
Yeah.
But just from a pure dramatic, hey, this is what I'd like to see from my quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm all in. Give me
Okay.
more of that.
No,
Can you imagine that if we were all just honest, like in Liar Liar?
I've had better.
Yeah.
I've had better.
That's because you got really big jugs. Like,
I mean, your boobs are huge. I mean, I want to squeeze them. I mean, mama.
yeah. Can you imagine, like, if Kyle Shanahan was able to express his true thoughts with Fred Warner? Like, oh, yeah, it's just next man up. We just have to find the next guy. And that's why they prepare so hard for moments like this, where we're back to the truth machine. This is the truth machine now, what I'm doing. But it's just, yeah, we're screwed without Fred.
It's kind of a boring, unfunny truth machine. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, but what was the message of that movie, Stephen and Liar Liar? It's really, you shouldn't tell the truth sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. But again, like I'd just go against everything that I've said before in this podcast. If I said, yeah, this is wrong of Tua, why did he do that, and chastised him?
No, I get it. You want a good soundbite out of guys. I totally understand that.
Yeah,
but
just honesty.
It is an indictment on Tua where I'm sure, like, this also kind of is like tattletaling, where he's like, I called the players only meeting, and these guys are showing up late, so no one respects me. When?
Tattletale Tua.
It kind of goes back to, remember that interview he did? What was it, Dan Le Batard show? Tua did? Was it on the Dan Le Batard show, or was it another podcast where he was like, the difference between Brian Flores and Mike McDaniel is that Brian Flores hated me every single day. Yeah. And then Mike McDaniel's so different. And we were like, you're coming across a little whiny, dude. Just let it go. You already got your head coach. You're good. Tua, a lot of his sound bites this year have been bad for different reasons. The Cam Newton thing, and I want to thank God for keeping us all safe for the most part after Tyreek Hill hurt his leg. This one was like, I don't know if you're a good leader as far as a quarterback, and every quarterback needs leadership qualities, and I don't know if Tua has those.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like his time is going to last much longer with that team, does it?
Well, they sent him the contract, so I don't know. I feel like Mike McDaniel is going to be the guy that takes the fall here, unfortunately. Just to bounce around real quick, because these games weren't spectacular. Packers beat the Bengals 27-18. My guy Matthew Golden, you were texting me about him. He looks really good as their deep threat right now. 3 catches for 86 yards. Josh Jacobs looked like the Josh Jacobs with the Raiders.
Yeah.
93 yards, 2 touchdowns, a little more of a burst from that offensive line. I still don't know about the Packers. Not like I'm going to go full guru here and be like, Micah Parsons doesn't do a lot, but for what they're paying him, I kind of want to have him, make more of an impact on the game. But I get it. Like, he's getting held out there, double teams and whatnot. But I was impressed with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco kept things interesting for the Bengals. But I don't really know if the Packers, I have to see how they look against like better teams when they face the other NFC North teams or whoever they got upcoming in the next couple of weeks here, the Eagles or the Steelers. But yeah, I think the shine's kind of wearing off a little bit from the Packers hype with the Micah Parsons trade, where let's just see, like, they're a good team, but are they really great? Are they going to compete for the division with the Lions? I don't know.
I'm not sure about that either, but what I do know is with that Matthew Golden and me sending you that text, like, I think they have a guy who can be a go-to receiver. Like, the problem with the Packers, if it was a close game in the playoffs, it's like, well, who are they going to go to here? You got to rely on Jordan Love, but you don't have the go-to player. Like with the 49ers, for example, you usually knew that you can probably rely on Ayuk or Debo. But with the Packers, it's kind of just mix and match, and let's just hope that this guy's open.
Yeah.
But with Golden, God, he's got some great hands, like really solid, as you know, from Texas. And I think he's the most sure-handed receiver that they have. So I think the difference is, I think it's going to be up and down. I agree with you that they need to show more. It feels like it's always that way with the Packers. But by the end of the year, if they're in these close games, I think Matthew Golden's going to be the go-to guy. So I think at the very least that we have that to answer for. But compared to what's changed from, say, last year to this year, still a little bit more injuries, sure.
Yeah.
And you did add Michael Parsons, and you want to see a little more from him. But I do think they have more of an answer at wide receiver down the stretch than which something they didn't have before. So I think that's a little positive takeaway you can get with that team.
I would agree, and I think that we'll see Christian Watson come back because he's been practicing. The window for his return from PUP has been open, so we may see him come back here, and it's another deep threat that they could have to add to their offensive arsenal. Did I send you the Jamar Chase audio by chance?
Raw dog?
Yeah, the raw dog. This was weird.
I did.
Interesting terminology from Jamar Chase here.
You didn't send it to me.
Okay, but yeah, like this is right after the game, and they're playing Thursday night against the Steelers. They ask him like, how do you see things on a short week with the Pittsburgh Steelers? And Jamar Chase uses an interesting phrase when it comes to facing against their division rival.
Steelers gonna try to come in and raw dog us and kill us, but we're gonna be ready for that challenge, and we're gonna be waiting for it.
Oof.
Raw dog and kill us. I know the kids these days are using raw dog when it comes to going on a plane and not like having any reading material or devices, but raw dog, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use that term when playing in an NFL game, but
I know we make too many movie references on this podcast and too many movie quotes pop into my head, but every time I hear that term, I always think of the movie She's Out of My League with Jay Baruchel. And
you know what?
You've never seen it?
That's one I've missed.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing where, he doesn't have a girlfriend and he has an ex, and his ex-girlfriend still hangs out with his family. Then he goes to see his family for lunch, and he's trying to show off in front of his ex. And he's just like, yeah, I've been okay. Just raw dogging some randoms.
Okay, I probably would love this movie.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I've never seen it. I like Jay Baruchel. I've seen a lot of things he's been in, but I'm surprised I've missed that movie.
Yeah. And like the boyfriend, the ex who she's with, like a family member or something like that. I don't know why. I can't remember why the ex hangs out with his family still.
Right.
But one of them pops in after he gets back from work, and he overheard the conversation, and he goes, raw dogging some randoms. Sounds like you got a good thing going there, pirate. Why do you call me pirate? It doesn't make any. Why? I've never been a pirate. I never wanted to be a pirate. Raw dogging some randoms. I'm a pirate.
That's a pretty good line. All right. And then there's another. I think I sent you this one. Mike Tomlin talking about
Mhm.
Joe Flacco.
You didn't.
This
send
was kind of
to me, but
weird.
Was it?
Okay. I thought so. And this is kind
Oh,
of
you did
him
send
like
this.
kind of showing his bitterness, I would say. So Joe Flacco traded within a division from the Browns to the Bengals, and the Steelers are facing the Bengals in a short week, and they asked Mike Tomlin about it.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Barry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. That's honesty. I think Mike Tomlin's also a little miffed where he's like, why would you do this? Now, I know Joe Flacco from many years with the Baltimore Ravens. I was planning on Jake Browning being the quarterback for this team. You're going to help out a division rival to screw up the rest of the division when you're out of it. And, Bruce Arians, who coached with Mike Tomlin at Pittsburgh, was on the Pat McAfee show today. He was like, this is bullshit. Why would the Browns do this? Why should the Browns care? Like, I think their mentality, like, just to focus on their game real quick with the Steelers and Browns, like, I was texting you, Aaron Rodgers. You said a couple weeks ago, like, it's not fun watching him. I agree. It's just a lot of quick passes. It's a lot of hospital balls, really. It's just him like, okay, boom, snap, let me throw to DK. Boom, snap, let me throw to Connor Hayward. It's, it's just not fluid, good offensive football, but they get the job done. They play defense. They run the ball. I don't know if I'm buying them at 4-1 in that AFC North, but then again, look at the rest of the division, so I don't really know. As far as the Browns, Dylan Gabriel, I really don't know what the point of that draft pick was. Like, it was just to draft a quarterback for the sake of drafting a quarterback. Same thing with Shador. Let's see what he is in probably the next few weeks. But that defense is really fucking good, and that offense is putrid. And I keep thinking about Myles Garrett this offseason, just being like, I want to move on, and they gave him $40 million, so he shuts up now. But he even said after this game, it's the same thing every week where the defense is playing great and the offense can't do anything. But for the Browns, they're basically tanking. They're not going to say it, but they have 2 first-round picks next year, and they're probably going to sell a lot off at the deadline. So why do they care if they have Joe Flacco? Just move him to the Bengals, and they get a 5th-round pick out of it.
Yeah. And from Tomlin's standpoint, though, I understand where he's coming from, because it's also, you're playing with these quarterbacks' careers. Like, what are you doing with Shador? What are you doing with Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah.
What are you doing with Joe Flacco? You're just trading him to a team that's eventually going to get their quarterback back, especially for a guy who Tomlin knows. Guarantee him and Flacco are not friends, but they're definitely cordial with each other because they've known each other for so long. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This isn't fantasy. I'm just dealing these guys as if the waiver wire opens up on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how rare it is to have in-division trades when it comes to quarterbacks. It was Drew Bledsoe and Donovan McNabb prior to this move. You never see it in division during the season like that. I'm sure that's what pisses off Mike Tomlin a little bit.
Yeah.
He even said, like, when the press conference ends, he's like, is that it, guys? All right, good. You guys are annoying me this week. It's like he's just, like, in general, just pissed off on a short week and prepared for the Bengals.
That's so funny.
As far as these other games, stop me if anything, interests you, Steven. We talked about Rico Dowdle. The Cowboys are playing really well offensively without CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott's off to a really hot start, but defensively they're just dreadful. And kudos to Rico Dowdle, 239 yards from scrimmage, when last week he had 234. So this guy's been a game changer as far as a running back. Anything on this game, Steven, or yeah?
I mean, it's George Pickens. George Pickens just fitting in seamlessly for CeeDee Lamb and looking like a number 1 receiver. He turns into, at times, the most entertaining player in the league, but also at times the most frustrating player in the league. And right now you're getting on the entertainment side of it, which is, I think, good for everyone involved. So yeah. I guess that's something that stood out. But other than that, I mean, I just can't believe the Panthers actually won again.
I know. Yep. The Colts sneak out a victory against the Cardinals, 31-27. This is a game they should have won. And go down Jacoby Brissett in the Cardinals offense to keep pace in this game. Questionable call at the end where Trey McBride was definitely PI'd in the end zone, but they didn't call it. So Colts win. They're the better team. That's all I have to say about this game, really.
Yeah, I didn't really have this on. I turned this off because I just figured, okay, Jacoby Brissett's in. What's the damn point? But then you go back and it's like, what the hell? They actually have a chance here. And it was a defensive pass interference on Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Definitely was. He had every right to go to the ref to his face with both his hands up. Like, what the hell, man? What are you seeing? You're right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, shame.
Yeah. And weird before the game where I forget which player it was. I'm blanking on it. But he suffered, I think it was a Colts defensive back where he was running drills before the game started and ran into another player and was
Charvarius Ward.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was Mooney Ward, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Where just a pregame warmups, he knocks into another player and is out for the game. That sucks.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before in the NFL either. Gotta watch where you're going. The London game, let me ask you this: like, we don't have to go through every game, but like, do you like the Monday night doubleheaders?
Monday night doubleheader. I thought we were going to London.
I know. I'll bring that up in a second. But do you like the Monday night doubleheaders?
I can deal with it. I mean, I'd rather have it be a standalone football game, but now that we've got the multi-view, I could deal with it. I'd rather have just one. I'd rather not have the doubleheader and keep it with just Joe Buck, Troy Aikman. I love how Aikman is just treating Caleb Williams like he did Jimmy Garoppolo and just crapping on every single thing that Williams does in the game. But I would rather have just a standalone Monday night primetime event. It makes it a little easier with the multi-view now, but
yeah, it is easier to watch as a YouTube TV viewer, but I'll be selfish. Like, being on the air while both these games are going on simultaneously, I'm like, God, I'm missing out on all the action. And then I come home and the first game's basically over, and then the other game's like in the fourth quarter. And I get it's fun if you're at home and watch these games. If you have two TVs, cool. That's usually what I have. But I think that the NFL was reacting to this off of the COVID season where we moved so many games to Monday or Tuesday. And you have these staggered start times where I'm like, I'd rather just watch one game. And I feel like with the London game and the Monday night doubleheaders, like, we're missing a lot of Sunday slate. So I don't know. I would rather have more games on Sunday than these 6:30 games or a doubleheader on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree.
So as far as the London game, this was horrible football. The Broncos win 13-11, but the way the Jets handled that drive right before halftime, and you could tell Rich Eisen's a Jets fan by the way he reacted, was just like, the crowd in London's befuddled, and so is the announcer. The Jets ran a fake punt on fourth down with a direct snap, and then they can't move the ball at all at midfield, and so they're at their own 48-yard line with like 11 seconds left. They have one timeout. They didn't do anything. They just let the clock expire. Aaron Glenn's like, well, if we don't pick up the first down, I didn't know if it was a first down, a fourth down, and if we don't pick it up, then the Broncos have it at midfield. They can kick a field goal. I don't want to take that chance. You have a fucking timeout and get clarification from the referee if it's a first down or fourth down, you fool. Good Lord.
Yeah. Aaron Glenn, I only caught the end of this game because I didn't really wake up till later. I only caught the end of this one, but Aaron Glenn is not off to a promising start as a head coach at this time.
But today, Coach was telling me, like, you think he gets fired at the end of the year? I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And I think the Jets may win against the Panthers, but they're not going 0-17. But yeah, it's pretty bad right now.
You never know.
I have to believe they win a game.
Yeah.
But it's clear Justin Fields, they get negative passing yards. Like, we going back to 2006 with the Raiders and Texans finishing a game with negative passing yards. Good Lord.
Negative 10 passing yards, dude. So
Jesus
bad.
Christ. Pats beat the Saints. I had this game on in the background. Didn't watch a lot, but Drake May throws 3 touchdown passes. He looks good. I guess the biggest takeaway from this game was the referees were horrible, from what Mike Vrabel said.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even watch a single minute of it.
Yeah, I'll go back and look. This wasn't a game of my interest. It was just Patriots are the better team, and they should have won this game. And we touched briefly on the Falcons and Bills. I'm just surprised that the Bills laid an egg once again, coming off that loss to the Patriots. But like I said, if you stifle the running game and you cover, like the Falcons have pretty good members of the secondary to cover up Keon Coleman and these other receivers for the Bills. So the pass rushers get into Josh Allen. I don't think it's a terrible loss, but it shows the Falcons are actually, I thought that maybe they're a team that you see them on your schedule and you could beat them like the 49ers this upcoming week on Sunday Night Football. But yeah, the Falcons are definitely a team you can't sleep on. And Bijan Robinson with that 81-yard touchdown. Drake London.
Yeah.
Almost scoring before halftime. Michael Penix, having a lot of weapons around him. They're actually better than I thought, the Falcons.
Yeah, well, they finally have established what they feel is their identity, which is running the football. Like they started it last week against the Commanders, where it's just don't overthink it. Just put the ball in number 7's hands, let him work. Michael Penix, just try not to throw any interceptions. Some guys will be open. We got talented players on this team, and finally they're starting to flourish. I mean, there's plenty of reasons. I didn't go back and watch any of the film or any of the condensed version of this game, but I think the Falcons are going to be a lot better than people will realize if that run game keeps going.
No, I would